Good morning. Welcome to the game lesson 1.3. I was at the game coding lesson 1.3, and it is the game code lesson 1.3. What I'm gonna do is read pages 138 to about 141 of the game The Undercover AI Project. This is right out of chapter 3, and you know, this 1.3 lesson will be basically about run, save, and load. I created a small animation of a possible tree that he could have created with some possible codes that might be, you know, codes, but they're really not codes. They're more, you know, something to play around with in thought. But here I'll go. I'll read the few pages. I do not create much art, OK says to himself. I will attempt to create a tree out of the blocks. Run, colon, // s+ enter. OK types into the computer. After the command, whenever the S key is pressed, a white block will appear in the place of the letter S. He changes to red, to green. OK picks the green color to create the tree leaves. The SB is the code to change the color squares to brown. This OK uses for a tree trunk. The B after the S is for brown. OK is finished. I did create a little animation here. This is something of what the tree would look like when he was finished. Oops. This small virtual tree has taken OK almost an entire day to complete. Not bad, not bad. OK praises himself. OK lays his head on the back of the couch. I wonder if the soda Mom bought last week is still in the fridge. OK gracefully gets off the couch and walks down the stairs. Good, soda's in here. OK drinks to his heart's content. OK swings open the freezer and hopes to find the frozen party food his mom bought earlier that week. OK finds it, placed between some frozen food. OK places the party food in the microwave. 2 minutes later, cheesy and crispy. He grabs his soft drink and food and rushes back up to his bedroom to his computer. OK sits down, runs his hand through his brown hair. He takes a bite of his crispy food. He gazes at his work on the computer, his creation, his brown and green tree made of tiny squares. And that again is the tree. Not bad, OK says to himself. I wonder if I should try something harder. But first, I should save my first creation, my tree. OK presses the letters on the keyboard. Save, colon, / tree, enter. OK pauses for a moment. He says, if I type run, colon, / s+ enter, then I will have a creation of a square. Now if I or another was to type rolling, colon, / tree, enter, or load, colon, / tree, enter, they and I will find a programmed command. They will find my tree. Note, well, I'm waiting. This is like a side note. Load underscore / s+ will not change the letters to squares. Load and run are similar, yet loading a program and running a program are completely different. Here, OK is making the idea that he's similar. Whoever made the keyboard to be able to the little blocks on the keyboard, OK just kind of sort of figured out that he can make little blocks. Say like, you know, if he wanted to make a little block in the shape of a tree, he could do that now. And so whoever was to use the keyboard after him, you know, similar to the code to put an S in there for square, now all they have to do a tree, they would put a tree in there. And so somebody did blocks, now he can do a tree. and here he's the load and the run, they're similar. You know, at this point in his computer coding, he can load the tree and have the same effect as running the tree, but they're different. He's saying, because load will load the tree, it will not run a certain, you know, say if you wanted that tree to do a little stunt when you loaded it, that'd be different, you know, a command right there. So they're similar at first, but they're quite different. I am a computer programmer. I have programmed the computer. Okay, shouts. Okay, must see his work in action. He presses the clear screen. You know, control escape. Maybe I should play the little animation so we can watch it in action here. And I'll just go over what he just did. So once he created his tree here, he saved it. You know, and this is back on the older computers. This is all in theory. This is kind of like a computer theory. So he saved it, and you know, it went blank. And now he's going to test it out to see if he can bring it back up to life. And so he's running it. And because it's only one file, he could run it or load it, and so there it is. It popped up. You know, none of the codes are with it, just the image of his last, you know, his thing he was doing. And so, you know, he ran the tree, and then, you know, he probably pressed escape control right there, and then he's loading the tree, and here it pops up again, and now he's going to try to do a completely different thing. But what I'll do is I'll continue reading. You know, as I can create squares of different colored squares. Now I have a code to a tree. I should try to create more items. I wonder if there's a way to move the tree around the screen, or if there's a way to duplicate the tree. Okay, excitedly and full of anxiety, takes on the project. Okay, flips back and forth to the manual of the hole in B51, which obviously I've named after me. This is how you can tell, you know, that the it's fake in a way. I don't want any areas where people stumble and think that the this has anything to do with you know, a real computer computer programming book, which I've never, you know, seen one in a way that, you know, I can state is real. But you know, I just kind of made this stuff up. I invented it in a way, but it could work in a sense, but it probably is not going to work. But okay, so with that being said, again, you know, I just kind of invented this whole idea. So so run here, he equals moving one space. So this is the little arrows. So now this is where run and load are you know, in theory would be quite a bit different. You know, if you were to load a movement, you'd get one movement. You couldn't load multiple movements at once. So if he loaded, you know, the arrow in a tree, it's most likely not going to work. So it's sort of like running a program right here. This is where he kind of, you know, begins to see, you know, the idea of maybe an animation or program run. OK considers load will not create the movement of the arrows because the command load loads a command. It will not run more than one command. I wonder if I press 4 arrows if I'll move 4 spaces. I should try. OK presses enter. Once OK press the enter button, full of amazement, the cursor moves 4 spaces. But this won't work in a load command, in theory. I must make sure that I understand the differences in the two commands. Nothing happens. The cursor does not move 4 spaces, not 3, not 2 spaces. OK decides to press run command, but this time he presses the arrow key 19 times. He presses enter, 19 spaces. The cursor moved 19 spaces. Wonder if I place my tree code into this code, if the tree will move with the arrows. If I simply type load tree, we will only load the tree file, but we will still need the direction commands to put the tree other than, because we plan on running the tree along with the arrows in any direction we desire. We must run the tree. OK presses, you know, I just did an animation which was 6 arrows, and they're not the same arrows, and so we'll check on this little animation. This is the rest of it. So the arrows, you know, because it's make believe, you know, I'm just tossing out kind of the theory or the ideas to it. But these aren't the arrow keys that I originally, you know, thought about when doing this, but I suppose they can work. You know, and so he presses enter at the pretend arrow keys, and this, you know, the computer begins to run his command, you know. So that, I find that very interesting. that that the running of a file, sort of like a movie or an animation or a game at its beginning stages would have been about that amazing, where you're watching the computer kind of come to life right then, in this little run command. And you could probably type a whole bunch of code without actually commanding it to do anything yet, save all that code, and one day run a simple file and it would begin to play an entire movie, which I find very, very, very neat. And so that will sum up this game lesson, the game lesson 1.3. I probably should have named it run, save, load, and copy, but I forgot the copy. But the copy command is very important too. I'll try to put it in the next lesson. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great rest of your day.